Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. Alright, guys, so I am just going to start the video off by saying we have CPI coming out tomorrow. We have bullish setups, in my personal opinion, across the board. I do think we are going to rally off of CPI data. I think that is the likely scenario for tomorrow. So I'm just going to make my bold statement right there at the beginning of the video. Maybe I'll regret making the bold statement. Maybe I won't. But I do think that once I show you what I have to offer in this video, that you might also be on my side of things. You know, you might also favor the upside from this point, because we quite frankly do have a quite bullish setup on, most of the names we're going to review here. All right, so first things first, let's go over the daily chart, guys. We came down. We now have like a pin bar candlestick. We have a bullish candlestick here. I don't want to call it a hammer. You got a little wick above, but I'm going to say right here, you have that long lower wick. Over here, you got a doji over here on QQ after having this massive bearish engulfing candlestick. Guys, right here on QQ, you're kind of just set up like, just for nothing right before CPI. Now, you did break down from this rising wedge pattern right here, but then I'm going to come over here to SPY. I'm going to show you guys, you're still in this rising wedge pattern. You found buyers stepping up right where they needed to today, like exactly like where they needed to. And that was the case. Now, you come over here, the economic calendar, you guys can see at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here, you are going to have your CPI data coming out. That's going to be probably bringing us, we're going to have a gap up in one direction or the other. I don't know, just like you don't know which direction that's going to be, but I am going to show you some charts in this video that suggest it's probably going to be a gap to the upside. So that's that. All right. Now, coming over here to IWM, I am going to show you, you're here in the golden pocket. Over here in DIA, you have this bullish hammer candlestick, and you can see you have the long wick here. Guys, I really don't think this looks all too bad. We don't, have the indices looking all too bad. Bullish candlestick in SPY. IWM, we're going to say bearish. QQ is neutral. And then DIA over here is bullish. So, it's not really too bad looking. But then let's come down to the smaller time frames. All right. So, let's start here in SPY. And I am just going to point out, guys, you found buyers right here where you needed to have buyers stepping in. They need to hold this trend line. They did end up getting in right there at the trend line. What I want to point out is you had a bullish divergence pop up right here at the bottom. All right, so I was looking for this, wherever this thing was going to sell down to, whether it was going to be down here or not. I was looking for a bounce as long as this bullish divergence was to hold. Guys, we typically have a bearish or bullish divergence at every single top or bottom here. All right, like a short-term top or bottom, like we're talking like $5 moves to the upside, $5 moves to the downside. Well, in this case, all right, it did bring, a rather large, like, you had no bounce here. You had a little one, sold $7. You came back up, so that's $2 bounce right there. But, that's like kind of a $10 straight sell. You really just got to watch for these 15-minute bearish divergences and bullish divergences on the SPY over here, and then the QQQ. Let me just point out this example right here, guys. So, on SPY, all you had to do is watch for quite some time here. Let's just point this out. Let's just use our drawing tool. You have a bullish divergence going on right here. All right. Here you have a bearish divergence going on right here. Okay. Right here, you have a bullish one. You got your bullish divergence going on right here. You came down to your demand zone right over there. You had the bearish divergence going on right here. All right, they're pretty much at like every single, mini top or bottom here. Now, sometimes they're not going to pop up here on SPY. In these cases, they're typically over here on QQQ, so you're going to get one or the other. So I'm just going to put it out there for anybody who's new here onto my channel. This is something that you're going to want to watch out for. If you like the way I go about things here on this channel, then that is what you're going to do. You're going to watch for these 15-minute bearish divergences to form on your RSI, guys. The settings, all right? Because I get, too many questions about this, guys. I use the literal default settings. It's going to come looking like this, all right? You're just going to come over here. You're going to click on that button. You're going to uncheck that, okay? And, my inputs are the exact default. So there is that. But guys, I'm just putting out there, we had the 15-minute bullish divergence. We haven't really gotten a bounce from it. Okay, so I do think we are likely to get this bounce. And if you do sell off of CPI, let's say you open up right here, I think you're likely to, probably get bought up. I'm just putting my, personal opinion out there. That's that. Now, I'm just going to say right now, I'm willing to buy tomorrow's dip on select names. I'm going to point out these names in these videos because I think the dip is rather nice. And I think we're about to make some money. I think it's going to be some good stuff. And guys, if you like making money, you're going to like this channel because, that's kind of all I focus on, all day. And once a day, I get to talk straight money with you guys. And guess what? Let's just jump straight to it. So first things first, since we all know CPI is tomorrow, all right? I'm bullish on that. We're going to review the indices, but let me just go over why I do think we're probably going to have a bullish CPI, all right? You come over here to AVGO, guys. Some of these things are really just set up, in my personal opinion. Like this, you don't have setups like this. Like it's literally this same setup. You sold off, you have this going on, all right? We have a big day tomorrow. My guess is probably going to gap you up here. You come over here to Nvidia. All right. I understand it's not the most bullish candlestick. You did have a big fat hammer candlestick at one point today. But, you came down to the golden pocket. I'm just going to put it out there, guys. You kind of already sold a decent amount on these names. Like you come over here to AVGO and, my alert got hit. Like, this thing was straight selling. I got to, snipe the bottom over here. And it's strictly because of this alert. People tell me, RSI, like, what are you talking about? Why are you using an indicator? This is why I use an indicator. All right. Price action can, take, that's part of the equation. And then you can have I suggest only one momentum indicator. You got no reason to use two. Let's look at it this way. If you use two, you're being given the same data in just, two different manners, which is confusing. It's going to make you pull less triggers. You're going to be less confident in the signals that these things give you. And overall, it's just confusing. So just stick to having one. I recommend the RSI because I will show you in these videos how I use the RSI. So you can follow along with me if you use the RSI as well. But right here, guys, for our RSI, it came down to where we, if you bought 3 weeks out, I remember I did a test and you would have caught in like almost $100 move every single time. I think I'm about to catch that move. All right. So I do think that is going to be the case here. I think we are going to be catching a nice bounce here. You had the break and retest. It was successful, as you guys could see. All right. Well, I mean, you came down under that, but let's just pretend that this is not the zone we were watching. Let's pretend like, because we could have drawn this in a different way. Let's look at this. This aligns with the golden pocket. Well, technically, guys, this break and retest ended up holding. All right. So this thing really doesn't look too bad to me. I think you literally are just boom, boom, boom. I think it's going to go like that. You got Nvidia over here. Guys, let me just talk about Nvidia's business model because, my friend was talking about how he looks at Nvidia, and I was like, holy Jesus. Pardon my French. That was, like, they literally have the same business model as Apple, except on a larger scale. Let me explain. All right, so he asked me how often I change my computer. All right. And I said, well, I'd probably have to change it like 4 years ago. I built this computer in 2021. I'm probably going to change out next year. It's getting a little, dull on me, a little slower. And yeah. So then he was like, okay, well, Nvidia keeps going up all the time off of, all of these press releases, these news releases off these big companies like, oh, we're going to have to order. He mentioned Mark Zuckerberg. He saw a tweet like not too long ago. Mark Zuckerberg that he had to order like 350,000 chips or GPUs or whatever from Nvidia. I'm pretty sure that was the example he was using. And the stock just keeps going up because people are trying to price that in. They're like, oh crap, this big company is going to need chips. That's crazy. Let's price it into stock. And then he asked the question I just went over, like, Henry, like, how often do you have to change your computer? I was like, every 4 years, things are just going to get slower. And, guys, graphics cards are kind of an expensive product. Like, let's look at it this way. There's the iPhone, $800. Samsung Galaxy, $800. Phones, $800. People have to change those like 3 years. That's Apple's business model. They just keep, having to do that. And people keep doing it. They're fine with that. And, Apple's business model is unlike anything else. That's why, when Apple is sitting like this, I'm like, what the heck are people complaining about, guys? Buy Apple on the dip. It could even go lower from here. It doesn't matter. You guys see what's going on? This is Apple we're talking about. So if you're buying time, I think this is a great buying opportunity. I really do. All right. And if you get to buy this down here, I think you're probably sniping the bottom. If you get to catch it right here at 167.90, I think you're sniping the bottom. Like AVGO, if you have a positive CPI, then your boy sniped the bottom, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time. Guys, if you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're going to have a bad time. I don't know if anybody watched South Park. I saw that pop up on Twitter the other day. I was dying. You're going to have a bad time. All right. If CPI, if this gaps down tomorrow down here, you're going to have a bad time. I'm kidding. I'm just putting it out there, guys. You know, I think these things are set up to bounce. Oh, yeah. But Nvidia's business model. So check it. Okay. 4 years, guys. That is what we're just going to go with. Okay. Well, if these companies are all competing with one another, okay, we're talking all the big companies. So keep in mind, like Apple's business model incorporates, yes, you're selling to businesses, but you're mainly selling to, you know, just individual consumers to, you know, indirectly through like carriers and stuff like that. People just go to the phone carriers. All right. So there's that. But Nvidia. So you also have that side of things. So what we just talked about with the iPhones. And then you also have these massive corporations that people are trying to price stuff in for because they have to make these purchases now or, you know, in the next year or two. But what they're not pricing in and why like Nvidia is the business model so good is because, guys, they're all competing with each other. Nvidia can just come out with a newer product. It could be slightly better. And these new corporate, the big business, they will just they'll keep paying for it. Like, you know, I'm just putting it out there. They have a never-ending cycle of just compounding, just, you know, just revenue coming in from these big corporations because all these big corporations are just competing with one another. And if Nvidia is, you know, the kingpin in that space, they're all going to keep going to Nvidia. And when one competitor gets it, all the others are going to see it, and then they're going to get it. And then they're going to keep getting more and more because these big guys are going to keep growing. And then Nvidia is somehow all the chips, like, they're just, you know, invested into these companies. They're just, you know, these companies are just intertwined with these chips at this point. All right. And they just keep needing more chips. So I know I'm sounding a little crazy here, but I'm just putting into perspective what kind of clicked in my head. Nvidia will go to the $3 trillion market cap because it's going to be the most valuable company in the, you know, in the US. I'm just putting it out there. Nvidia will keep getting larger as all these other technology companies keep getting larger. All right, like straight up, they will keep riding the technological boom wave. I think that is why, you know, it didn't make sense for me before, but Nvidia has kept skyrocketing. It makes sense because this is what probably the big boys are thinking and seeing, and I'm just now realizing it. All right, so that is why I do think Nvidia dips are buying opportunities. I don't know how big those dips are going to be, but I can just tell you right now, I don't think you're just going to get a crash like everybody thinks. I really don't, because I do think, fundamentally speaking, I think Nvidia is kind of back in what it's doing right now. If you really take a step back and look at what I just went over right then, right there, the people who are critiquing this company right here and just crapping on it and saying this is just a bubble, I don't think they're taking into perspective. The bubble is literally backed. It's not a bubble. Like, it could be a bubble, but if what I just said is real, which it is real, I put some thought into this, some time, you know, not some time, all right? But, you know, I put some thought into that, you know, theory right there. And yeah, guess what? It was literally a thought, as my friend was telling me this the other day. But I'm just saying, like, you know, that's how it is. And this company will keep getting larger and larger. So, you know, I'm not a Nvidia fanboy or anything. I'm not hopping on the bandwagon or anything like that. I just thought it was a fun little cool theory here. And maybe if you were calling Nvidia a bubble, maybe now you'll take a step back and be like, oh, crap. Wow, this actually is an Apple type of company. It is. It is an Apple company. Guys, it is the kingpin in the space. Everybody's using Nvidia. All right, guys, let's stop talking about that. We talked about that for like 7 or 8 minutes. Let's move on. I thought I'd share it. But yeah, I do think this thing is probably going to return back up to the highs. I really do think $1,000 income. They're doing a stock split too, so that is something. Okay. But as far as, you know, AVGO goes over here, guys, this is kind of picture perfect. You bounce here at the 0.786 fib. You catch in a bid. I'm looking for these levels over the coming days. If you do have a positive CPI report, I think we do have some good stuff on the table here. But the same with Nvidia is possible over there. I will also point out QQQ is looking really good, guys. So we do have some things that are set up like, hey, all right, it's not the end of the world if you have a bad CPI. I think it's probably going to go like that. But if you have the good CPI, there's also it's probable that you're probably going to see this. You're coming straight up to 146, okay? Or it's just all happens tomorrow. It's like that. Probably not. You're probably not going to see a 5% move. But, you know, anything's possible, you know? There you go. Apple. I'm just saying, if you get a hot CPI, you're going to come down here. Buy the dip. All right? That's that. But yeah, QQQ especially. I'd say QQQ, Nvidia, AVGO suggests that we're probably going to be catching a bid off the CPI. All right? Was another one we're talking about. Talking PLTR, guys. PLTR break and retest right here. All right, these above these gray levels right here. I do think we're probably going to catch a bid off of this breakout zone and go all the way up to 29.29. All right, IBM, you got the break and retest today. At one point, you did have a hammer candlestick, so that was pretty cool looking. But I just want to see buyers step in somewhere between 188.95 and 191.73. No, not 192.39 and 188.95. That is your demand zone right here. Breakout zone. That's where you want to see buyers stepping in. Guys, we're going to return to the indices at the end of the video just to go over some individual levels. But we're just going to stick here with some tickers here. BA, guys, it's off the table. Don't long the thing until it shows some signs of life. This thing is dying. All right. I don't know what is happening with this thing, but we're going to have to see about this one. It's not on the table. Cost, guys, it's coming right down here to the first support level. And I will point out here, if you look at just on the 4-hour RSI, you know, this is proven to be a buying opportunity. I'm just putting it out there for a while now. All right. Next one we're talking about is going to be Nike. Nike is really sexy looking. Nike is going for that reversal. And I do think Nike is going to break out at some point from this descending channel. Guys, this is literally just, you got a downtrend, you hit control, you drag here, and boom, you have a parallel channel. That's how I make my parallel channels. So you just start with one, and then you hit control, and you drag. There you go. For anybody who, you know, was interested, I know, you know, we got people from all walks of life here, all stages, all different stages of charting and trading, you know. So there's that. But yeah, I do think, as you see, sellers is stepping right here at TP1 there, but I do think you're probably going to make your way up here to the top of this descending parallel channel, which is going to be up around 104. Yeah, 104, 105. We're going to call it 105. All right, next one we're taking a look at is a firm, guys. You're still just basing down here. If you do come down here, I think you're probably going to get buyers stepping in. I don't think you're going to break down, but if you do break down, we'll be watching it. All right, we'll be watching it. Next one we're talking about is Roku, guys. I do think Roku is, I mentioned this in the weekly update, but I do think Roku is getting ready here. Watch for it. Watch over 65.86. I think it's getting ready. All right, so that is all I have for you guys today. Let's come back over here to SPY and let's just go over some levels to be paying attention to, guys. So, positive CPI. Can you gap above 514 here? If you can get above 514.20, I'm just going to put it out there. You're probably going to just push straight up to the highs again. That is just my current opinion. You don't really have much above here. All right, you have a little battle going on here, but as you can see, where the wicks, where did the opposing side step in here? All right, buyers, 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 seller stepped in. All right, right here, you have boom, you got a little battle going on there. Big wick, sellers, buyers were like, nope, and then sellers were like, nope, you would have thought, and they sunk you. All right, so, you know, if you do get bid up, we're going to be watching the upper end of this trend line here. I personally do think we have a decent sized sell right around the corner, but I do think we're going to take out this high one more time, and it would make perfect sense to stay in this pattern here. It set you up perfectly into CPI. and you're going to do this. What if you open up, you have a, you know, CPI that's not too bad here, and you do something like that? What if it was something like that? Would you guys be happy, Bears? Would you be happy? I'll be happy. Okay. But yeah. Okay, so that's really what we're looking at. Why do I have this level up here? 528. I have absolutely no idea. We're gonna take it off. All right, take that off. So what if you get a hot CPI? What if it's a hot CPI and it's a bad one? Well, you're probably gonna gap underneath the golden pocket here. So then we're gonna be watching this level right here at 505. Okay, now that would be a 1.5% gap down. You're probably not going to get more than that. It's got to be really hot to get more than that. So yeah, I'm just going to say, guys, we're probably getting buyers stepping in right here, no matter what tomorrow, unless you get a really hot CPI, and then probably that. And then like, if we're really starting something bigger, it's going to go like that or something, or like, you know, it could get drastic. No, it can't get drastic. It could. I don't know. All right. I don't know. But if you do get a hot CPI down here, looking for buyers, 505.35, and then you're looking for the move back up to this zone up here, and then back down here. We got to see what happens here. Either you bounce or you don't bounce. You come over and it's going to go like that. Okay, so scenario number 1, which is tame / cool CPI, run up here, probably break this high, maybe come and tap the upper end of this rising wedge pattern right here. We already do have 3 touch points on the top, 3 on the bottom now. Pretty perfect looking pattern. I think it's going to be respected. And then scenario number 2 off of the hot CPI. Now, QQQ, what levels are you paying attention to, guys? It's really going to come down to 433.70 right here. You're kind of right in the middle. You're right here at 439.28. All right, so you're up 0.5% in after hours. So we're watching right here. Can you get above this zone right here? You got these reactions going on here. If you can get above, all right, watch for something like this, and then watch for a push up to 446.58. We're going to call it right here. Okay. Really what you're paying attention to. I don't know if you're going to, you know, get something like that. That's if you get the tame CPI. You get the hot CPI. All right. I doubt you're going to get that big of a move down. But probably something like this. All right. You probably would open up right here, sell down to your, you know, demand / your support down here, catch a bid like that. Probably go something like that, you know? All right, so those are really my scenarios, guys, but I'm also going to say I don't know how much this thing's going to sell with the setups I already showed you guys. These things look pretty juicy. I don't think AVGO is going to really sell much more. If it does, like, I'm going to buy AVGO and Nvidia, guys. Let's look at it this way. You come over here to Nvidia. People are bearish to Nvidia. I just went over what I, you know, thought about it. And guys, if you get down here to 823.94, you can get a really nice buying opportunity over here on Nvidia. All right. And like this, if you catch this move, like you buy 3 weeks time right here and you catch that, I imagine it's probably like the 4 to 5x in your money. I don't know. Okay. Go look at the contracts. But if I had to guess off the top of my head, 4 to 5x your money, that seems like free money to me. All right. And like this is Broadcom, guys. Yeah, this is also a big boy. It's not as even close to a big boy. But, you know, this thing, guys, every time we've seen this for like a year now, you've seen it, you know, I already went back and checked. You would have been able to buy at this line here, and you would have been able to literally just continuously buy 3 weeks time and caught like a $50 to $100 move every single time. So I do think, you know, it's not going to be different this time. I think you're going to probably continue this bounce here. And if you sell down, I don't know. We're going to be watching the bottom of this golden pocket. And I don't think it's going to happen. But if it does, then you're watching all the way down here at 1200. All right. But I think you're probably going to catch a bid there. I don't think you'd be coming all the way down to 1150. That would be a big sell from right here. $150. Jeez Louise, man. Jeez Louise. Be crazy. All right, guys. With that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of your day. Who says you can't do TA on Mr. VIX, guys? You have a potential inverse head and shoulders here. All right. I saw the rejection happening right here. So I put this on right there. Put these guys on right there. And guess what? We have an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So whoever, you know, I get comments saying you can't do TA on the VIX. I will argue that one. That you definitely can do TA on the VIX. I will show you in these videos that you can. Every time you've hit 65 on the RSI, you've topped within days for years since the COVID 2020 crash. Go back and check it. Go fact check it. You know, matter of fact, I'll fact check it right now for you. Boom, 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 boom. Notice how you just don't stay above. You really don't. You tick up there and then you die. Boom, boom. You're up for like, you know, a few days here and then you came back down. All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right, guys. So we can keep going back and then it's going to stop. I'll actually show you where this doesn't work out right here. COVID 2022 crash, not 2022, 2020 crash. It didn't work out. Why? Because you were crashing. But guys, unless you're getting a crash, yeah, you can do TA on the VIX. So that's what I'm getting at. All right, guys, I'm going to conclude the video with that. Everybody have a lovely rest of your night. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.